Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is a quick start up. So we're going to go File, Basic File Wizard. We're going to set the engine code. In my case it's for BAM. Would you like a MAF sensor? Yes, I would like to use MAF. I am using version M of the element. You can get it off the side of your MAF sensor. If you look on the side, it'll tell you. I'm using a map sensor that's located inside my intercooler, not as a speed density one. So that's intercooler. It's the standard OEM size, 60. I am using version B of the map sensor. I've also changed my injectors to 550s. If you have anything like 1000 or anything, then just type in 1000. You can also put a reference of the part number, just so any tuners in future, they can just look at it and just check it and cross-reference. I'm using high octane fuel. I will be using a turbocharged engine. Knock sensors sensitive. VVT, I have mine set to no at the minute, but if you're using it, then obviously set it to yes. KO3, KO3S, KO4 hybrid. I am using a GT28 at the minute, which I will be changing soon for a 660, but it's just a GT28 at the minute. Keep launch control off for now. You can decide whether you want to use an NT49. It depends if it's an OEM car, an OEM engine. But if it's something like an engine swap car, there's a good chance that you probably aren't using that bypass valve anymore. No to ERAP unless you're using an OEM car. I'm using the standard wideband sensor, which is a 4.2. That's okay. Create settings file. Okay, so I'm going to put vehicle. I'm just going to put Audi A4 B5. Owner is me. Tuner is, guess what? Me as well. Okay. So you can write that to the ECU. This is just the base map that's going on, but there's a few things we need to do as well first. So I'll just wait till that's read. Return. We should go to sensors. Go down to when I see it. Throttle position in. And then we're going to set our minimum throttle position sensor. So don't touch the pedals, set your minimum, and then depress the pedal. Because everybody's depressed nowadays. And set your max, and then take it off. So that is now your min and your max of your throttle pedal. And then we're going to go over to e-gas, go to settings, and we're going to perform a standard throttle body calibration. We normally do this in like a Ragcom or something like that. That's what you'd normally do. Just wait till that's finished. I'm sorry it's a bit noisy in the car. There's just a lot going on at the minute and a lot of traffic. I think my filtering's pretty good though. I'm using the filtering profile from a Twitch. So okay, so let's set the pedal up. We just want to make sure if you've got your standard setup, your N75 is going to be enabled. So you should have this boost tab. So you're going to go to boost control. You can ignore your specified for now. Go to minimum, make sure it's all 0. And go to your max. And change all these to 0. So all this means is the max is the maximum amount that the ECU will apply of duty. So at the minute I don't want no duty at the minute because we're just doing a fresh start. So we'll have 0 for max, 0 for minimum. What you normally do is you normally set up your max table first with the amount of duty that is required by your setup. And then you just take off like you just do slightly under that for your minimum table. So say if you're like using 50% duty for your max, you use about 40 odd for your minimum. So we're going to go to Limp modes. I'd personally change the knock a bit lower. It's up to you, obviously, it's your engine and your car, so but I'm going to change mine to about 3 to adjust the live table for your idle when you're in auto logging mode. So you want to turn this off for the first start. Okay. So now go to adaptions. We are currently at idle adaptions. So now what we want to do is start the car. And if everything's set up okay, it should be fine. So 1 second. To update, but so you have to leave this for a little bit because we're not in the range yet of adapting. So we've got to wait until we go above 70C. So I'm just going to let it warm up and then I'll get back to you. So what I'm currently doing is just warming the car up. We need to get the temperature to around, I think it's 70 before the adaptation starts to kick in. We're currently at 60, 67. And we need 70. If your numbers are quite wild at the minute, like if your long-term fuel trims are off and you're in the red, you most likely have put in the wrong injector CC, or it's underperforming on what it's supposed to do. You can fiddle with dwell times, which obviously affects, which is just a signal between the ECU and the injector, like depending on the coil in the injector and stuff like that. So you can lower that to put your fuel trims correct as well. But these seem pretty close, to be honest. So this most likely won't need too much adjusting. Let me just see what it's currently at temperature wise. We're very close, 68. So we need to go back to adaptions. And then it's froze. So as you can see, it's currently learning. So it's currently only one to 2 out at the minute, which is very minor, to be honest. You'll never get these perfect. You will literally be chasing your tail for months on end trying to get these smack on 0, and that's just not reality. So you can see there is a real-time mapping tab. It's a little gear. If you press that little gear, as you can see me moving it when I rev. So that is really only asking for 1 to be adjusted on this table, but that might change after a while. So I'm just going to leave it at that, to be honest, and I'll see what it's like after a while. To be honest, this ECU has got an amazing base map. Like compared to some aftermarket ECUs that give you like a ballpark figure, the base map on this ECU is great. So when all this is set up in your idle setup, you can go over to your part or full throttle, and then what this will do is just drive gently, drive around in the street. Shouldn't be too aggressive, depending on if you've got a lot of boost creep. Just keep eye on your fuel mixture levels and your boost that you're making. Obviously don't go crazy, because it is only a setup map. So just drive around, and then once it's all been applied in this map, you can go to the top and go to re-adaptions and click apply lumbar adaptions, and your adaptions will show up in here that your driving has changed. And what you want to do is you just want to click apply. So you click apply, and then you click write, and it will write that map that you've just adjusted, and that'll be it really. Obviously the more you drive around and the more that you learn it, the more efficient that it'll be.